this stormy 19th century novel is haunting us again. A new adaptation of Wuthering Heights is hitting screens just in time for Valentine's Day, and it only took the trailer to cause outrage. The casting, the costumes, the light to medium erotica, and the bold claim that it is... Why does this old story still blow up when it hits screens?
Heathcliff has all the hallmarks, really, of a domestic abuser.
Everybody in the book would have been so much better off if they'd just talk to each other.
And do these deep emotions mean that Wuthering Heights can actually change your life?
For a lot of people, it may be a book that speaks to them and speaks to their experiences like no other book really can.
Emily Brontë wrote Wuthering Heights before electricity, before film, before pop music, yet it's creating a buzz on the internet today. But why now? Thanks to a new adaptation loaded with star power. Directed by Saltburn's Emerald Fennell, with Aussie #1 Margot Robbie starring opposite Aussie #2 Jacob Elordi. While pop sensation Charlie XCX supplies an entire album for the film.
Everyone ready for done?
Normally this kind of cast and creative team screams excitement, but the response was complicated.
Everybody who reads it will have very strong views about how they personally imagine the novel and what they think a film adaptation of it should be.
I will never ever be able to see a film that comes anywhere close to what I see and feel and smell when I read this book.
But can a film adaptation of a book so deeply loved ever do it justice? We will come back to the whole film controversy, but first let's take a quick refresher on the plot and the author behind Wuthering Heights. Emily Bronte's only novel follows Heathcliff, an orphan raised on the Yorkshire moors. He grows up at the isolated estate of Wuthering Heights. Heathcliff forms an intense bond with his foster sister Catherine, while her brother resents Heathcliff and continues to humiliate him. After hearing that Catherine plans to marry for status and security, Heathcliff disappears. Catherine marries Edgar Linton, the rich boy next door. Years later, Heathcliff returns wealthy and hardened. He seizes Wuthering Heights and takes revenge on those who wronged him. His final encounter with Catherine is on her deathbed, intimate and intense. She dies after giving birth, weak and emotionally drained. Her spirit continues to haunt Heathcliff, driving him further into obsession and cruelty. Only after his death do the moors fall silent, yet the intensity of his story lingers. The author of Wuthering Heights, Emily Brontë, was nearly as mysterious as the world she created.
If I had to put it in a single word, I would say that Emily Brontë is an enigma. She was a famously reserved individual.
But there are still some things we do know about her. Emily Brontë was born on July 30th, 1818. She grew up in this house in Haworth, an English village on the edge of the Yorkshire moors.
The moors were really important to Emily, but she was always happiest here at home in the parsonage, surrounded by her family. And the moors were very much her escape, to the point where some critics have said that the moors can almost be regarded as an additional character in the novel.
With the deaths of her mother and two older sisters, their father was left with Emily, Charlotte, Anne and Branwell, all of whom were gifted with words. Emily was particularly close to Anne. The sisters' first work was a joint collection of poems, published under the male pseudonyms Currer, Ellis and Acton Bell.
People would pick up these books and see a woman's name on the cover and think, my goodness, they must be having a laugh, they can't expect me to read this. Whereas if they put a man's name on the cover, then people would take them seriously.
In 1847, Emily, or officially Ellis Bell at the time, published her only novel, Wuthering Heights. Shortly after publication, Emily's health got worse. She had trouble breathing, and was in constant pain. 1 year after the release of her book at age 30, she died of tuberculosis. The disease, sometimes called artist disease, would also claim her sister Anne, as well as writers like Chekhov, Kafka and Orwell. Now let's return to the controversy over the new film adaptation. First, the casting. One major point of contention: Jacob Elordi is white.
If you look at all the Western film adaptations of Wuthering Heights, Heathcliff has hardly ever been non-white.
But Heathcliff is not white, so where does this claim come from? While Emily Brontë provides no precise physical description of him, the novel continually frames him as racially other, describing him as dark-skinned from the beginning.
One thing we do know for certain about Heathcliff, because it's explicitly stated in the novel, is that he is found as an orphan in Liverpool. There would still have been slaving vessels coming into Liverpool at the time when the novel is set.
Besides Heathcliff, fans are also not happy with the casting of Cathy. Margot Robbie is in her 30s, while Cathy died when she was 19. One more topic of dispute is whether Wuthering Heights is truly thanks to one of literature's most famous lines, one could easily assume so.
Whatever our souls are made of, isn't mine not the same?
But is Wuthering Heights actually a love story?
So kiss me, and let us both be damned.
Heathcliff has all the hallmarks, really, of a domestic abuser, particularly when you consider his marriage to Isabella, you know, Edgar Linton's younger sister. Pretty much the first thing he does when Isabella arrives at Wuthering Heights is to hang her little dog.
It is a story about love, but about the way love functions socially. So Heathcliff is told, you are so different from us because you're black, and that's why you can't feel love, but that's why you're not worthy of love. And so it's about a hierarchy, who's a lovable subject and who isn't.
Beyond casting and genre debates, viewers have also complained about the film's overheated romance, apparently steamier than anything Brontë ever put on the page. Others wondered if the costumes had missed the Victorian era entirely.
Emerald Fennell has been very open about the fact that this new film is her personal interpretation based on how she understood the novel when she first read it.
Have you noticed these? The quotation marks are deliberate. The director says Wuthering Heights is too complex to truly adapt. This is not the novel, but a version of it.
I've got very high expectations for the new adaptation, mainly because it's so free and daring.
An adaptation is never a simple copy. It's a creative act, crafted through interpretation and choices. Today that freedom carries weight. Adaptations are judged not only aesthetically, but also morally. Wuthering Heights is basically part of our cultural DNA now. Remember this song? This is Kate Bush's 1978 debut single, Wuthering Heights. The novel definitely changed Kate's life. Fun fact, she did not even read the book. She watched a film adaptation. To this day, global fans gather once a year for the most Wuthering Heights day ever. The event is inspired by Kate's music video. When the trailer for the latest film dropped, sales of one Wuthering Heights edition jumped by more than 500% in a single day. Which brings us back to the question at the heart of this story. Can this old book actually change your life?
Wuthering Heights can change your life because it questions the hierarchy of who is a lovable subject and who isn't. In Wuthering Heights, Heathcliff says, no, you say I'm not one of the people who are allowed to love and be loved, and I don't accept your values.
If Wuthering Heights changes your life, it's because it drags you into an uncomfortable truth. Love is conditional. Emily Brontë shows what happens when desire collides with class, exclusion, and obsession. The novel doesn't soothe, it unsettles. That's why it still feels alive.